Good afternoon, everybody. Sorry for being with you through these technical problems. Even we were facing them. Hopefully, we have sorted all that out. And very soon, you will get to know something about Germany as a destination for your higher education. For that, I think it is also important for me to tell you who I'm speaking on behalf of. I'm not really representing any university, any college, or anything of the kind. What I'm representing today is an organization by the name of the DAAD. DAAD is a German organization funded by the German government, and what it does, well, it does a variety of things, but the most relevant thing for our today's uh, agenda is that it represents practically all the universities in Germany. So, what it means is that in the next half an hour or so, you will get to know about the German higher education scenario, what kind of universities there are, how you can apply for various programs offered by the universities, what kind of programs they offer, and also, obviously, why you should even consider Germany as a destination for higher education. I'm sure that you know a lot about Germany. You know a lot about Europe, follows you know a lot about Germany, and I can only hazard a guess what you know Germany for or what you know Germany because of. And I dare say football would be one of the first things that might come to your mind. But if you are an automobile buff, then the automobile and engineering might just be the other thing that will be the first thing that comes to your mind. But then Germany is all that, but beyond that, it's a lot more. And what I have here, what you can see on your screen, is a very short list of some Nobel laureates in the past few years. These are only a few names that I've selected. If you go back in the history, Germany has had more than 80 Nobel laureates in the past 80 years. It's not in order to impress you with the huge numbers that the list is here, however. You will see that we are not talking about football here, of course not. We are talking about higher education, but we are also not talking about automobile, and we are also not talking about engineering alone, but we are practically talking about all the subject fields that one might consider studying, whether one is referring to humanities, social sciences, life sciences, medicine, pure sciences, or even literature. So you see all these Nobel laureates, they had their foundations laid in the very strong higher education system of Germany, and that is what we are going to talk about a bit. There are various kinds of universities in Germany. There are the normal universities, pretty much the way we know universities, let's say in India or our region. So they typically offer a wide variety of subject fields. But what makes them special is the fact that when you graduate with a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, you have to submit a research based final thesis. Yes, even at the level of bachelor's, you do work on theses because research is something that is very important for German universities, and teaching and research always goes hand in hand. So if you're looking at bachelor's, master's, or a PhD, then universities would be the place to look to. Next, we move to a different kind of universities, the so-called universities of applied sciences. I think the name makes it amply clear. Here we are talking about applied sciences. So chances are that we are not talking about philosophy, we are not talking about pure sciences, and so on and so forth. But we are talking about engineering, business administration, certain branches of social sciences, design, and so on and so forth. Universities of applied sciences, therefore, by the nature of the kind of organizations or setups they are, they offer bachelor's, master's degrees and not really PhDs. Here also you have to write your final semester thesis, whether you're doing bachelor's or master's, but then it is going to be a more practically oriented thesis and not so much research oriented. With such universities in place, how attractive is Germany for students from other countries of the world? And I think a picture gives you the best possible story, or it makes it amply clear that Germany is indeed liked and favored by a number of foreigners. More than 13% of all the students studying in Germany at German universities happen to come from other countries. The first one is China, and the second one you might be interested in knowing is already India. And taking a look at the number of Indian students, one has more than 20,000 students carrying out their degrees in Germany. In these students, we do not include interns who might be doing 3-month internship, 6-month internship, or 1 year of research, or so on and so forth. These are purely people registered for bachelor's or master's or PhD at some university or the other. This number has grown significantly, as the graph makes it clear. There are various reasons for the numbers to go up, and some of the reasons are one that I already mentioned, the fact that research and teaching, they go hand in hand. So when you graduate from a German university with your degree, you already have a considerable exposure to research. Also, the excellent industry academia cooperation that exists in Germany, it also means that you have excellent exposure to the industry. You will surely have carried out a number of internships, very interesting and active internships while you're a student in Germany. That is one thing that Indian students who go to Germany and come back, or stay there, or move to some other countries, tell us that helped them immensely, the close cooperation between the industry and the universities. But all that happens after the studies are over. And what really helps right at the beginning is the fact that Germany offers a large number of programs in English medium. So not knowing German language is not really a problem as far as your higher education goes. There are more than 2,000 programs that you can choose out of, and all these programs you do not need to look at people to tell you, or write to universities to tell you what programs are on the offer. These two links that you see at the bottom of the screen, the DAAD.de slash hyphen slash international dash programs, and even the other one, they have they're an almost complete database of all the English medium degree programs offered by German universities at all bachelor's, master's, as well as PhD level. So feel free to browse through the databases. You will find information about the names of the degree programs, of course, but then going beyond that, you will also get to know the various eligibility criteria, the kind of budget you should keep in mind when you're applying for that program, also an overview of the syllabus that the particular program covers. And in case this information is not sufficient, you will also find the contact details of the course coordinator, so that you can write to them if your queries are not answered by the information on the university website. The course coordinators will always be happy to help you with your questions. Talking about eligibility, to put it very simplistically, if you want to do a PhD, what you need from India is a good bachelor's degree. If you need to do a master's, or if you want to do a master's in Germany, what you need from India is typically a 4-year long bachelor's degree. If you happen to have a 3-year bachelor's degree, as in case of if you do pure sciences or even humanities or social sciences, then you have to get in touch with the German university and check with them. They will perform some basic checks that they see as important for the kind of syllabus that they offer and the university programs that they run, and they will let you know whether you can apply for a master's or not. And if you want to do a bachelor's in Germany, then it depends upon what kind of schooling you've had while in India. If you study at an IB school, then if you have the right kind of subject combination, then you can start with your bachelor's immediately. If you have your school leaving certificate, so board exams from any of the Indian boards, or the CBS, or even the CBSE or the ICSE or regional boards, then a direct admission is not possible, and you need to do a 1 year long bridging program in Germany in order to become eligible to apply for a bachelor's program. You also need to know some element of German for that. If you want to have more details, please visit the website of the DAAD, daad.in, www.daad.in, and then you will have answers to all your questions. After the website, just put a /bachelor or /master or /PhD, and you will get detailed information about all the points that I am touching upon in these short 20 minutes. What kind of academic calendar does Germany follow? There are generally two intakes, the most popular one being the winter intake, and that is why we have a schedule for the winter intake in front of you on your screens. So we always suggest that you start at least a year ahead of time. So November, so now is already the time when you should start gathering information. January would be a good time to obtain applications. Obtaining also means browsing the websites because very often application procedures are uh, done online. Then, of course, other smaller things such as update your passport if you need that, and so on and so forth. But then around March, you can ideally start submitting your applications. What you need to know is that German universities can have do have different deadlines. So one deadline is not going to apply to all German universities. Once you apply, sometime around end of June, early July, you'll hear whether you've got the admission or not. That's also a good time to start looking for accommodation. The semester typically begins from October or late September. And that's where you find yourself in Germany in all probability. You must have heard that Germany asks or requires no tuition fees, which is true very often. So German universities generally charge very low or absolutely no tuition fees. One, however, has to pay some semester contribution, somewhere between 150 and 300 euros per semester, but then the semester contribution also comes with goodies such as free transport throughout the city, throughout the region, and so on and so forth. It's always a good idea to look up the tuition fees on the university website before you make up your mind and prepare for your applications. Tuition fees ticked off. We come to the living expenses, and you can see it. Everything is there. So somewhere in the range of 850 euros, that's the average. It includes everything: your lodging, boarding, clothing, insurances, communication needs, learning materials, transport, and so on and so forth. The weird looking figure 853 makes it clear that it's an average. So realistically speaking, depending upon the city that you choose, depending upon the kind of lifestyle that you lead, you'll be paying anywhere between 600 euros to 1200 euros in a month. University websites also have a very realistic estimate about what kind of money do students from that university spend on a monthly basis. As a registered student at a German university, you have the permission to do part-time work. The limit is 120 full days or 240 half days without a work permit. So you do not need to apply for any work permit, and you can work in various capacities. Of course, the usual student jobs are there: working in the library, working at cafes, working at shops, and so on and so forth. But then a wonderful opportunity also comes in form of research assistantship or student assistantship, and in which case, if you manage to secure one such position, then these limitations do not apply to you. It will not be 120 full days or 240 half days, but you practically work unlimited. The simple reason being, you're working, whatever you're doing, is in keeping with the reason of behind your being in Germany. You're there as a student, you're there to learn, you're there to do your academics, and being a research assistant or being a teaching assistant, that is precisely what you're doing, and that is the reason why the limits don't apply to you in that case. Of course, comes a time when your degree gets over, and after that, Germany allows you to remain in Germany for 18 months, so for 1.5 years, to look for a suitable employment. I think I do not need to dwell on what exactly we mean by suitable employment. Once you find an employment, then you can apply for a work permit, and jobs exist not only in Germany but practically all over Europe, all over the world, and also in India, needless to say. This was a very brief introduction about Germany as a destination for higher education. The DAAD has its offices all over in the region. You can see the names of the cities appear here. You'll see that we are also present in Bangladesh and Colombo. And you're always welcome to write to us in case of questions. We also conduct regular webinars and information sessions in all these cities and beyond. And you're most welcome to write to us about anything and everything Germany and higher education and research. Now I'm being reminded that I have to select two of the questions that you've been posting so diligently.
Aditi, first, if you could answer about 7 to 8 questions, which you, because you have got 10 minutes time to answer.
I do have the time. Okay, I
Yeah,
thought we were to end at 2:30, but okay.
yeah, you will have, but because since we started late, so
All
let us
right,
give
all right.
advantage to the
All
students.
right.
Because, yeah, so
Yeah.
please take your time, 10 minutes, if you could answer the
All
question.
right. I'll do that gladly. Gladly. Right, the questions are kind of getting mixed up. I have a nice question from a lawyer who is looking for scholarships, and I think the question was directed at the presenter before me. So please refer to the EU website, and I'm sure that you'll find some answers to your question. Then we have another question looking for international business management. Yes, management was one field that I did not explicitly mention. But yes, Germany, though it traditionally established itself as a destination for higher education in the fields of sciences and engineering, management is picking up quite splendidly. And one thing that German universities do specialize in and have wonderful programs in happens to be techno management. So, engineering and management also go hand in hand when it comes to the industry that one seeks to support. And techno management would also offer, I mean, if you're keen techno management, then all these universities will come up with very interesting options for you. Biotechnology, yes, certainly there are programs offered in biotechnology also. See, Germany is one country where I would not like to say that yes, they teach this subject in Germany. All I can say is that any subject you might be interested to study, you're sure to find universities offering wonderful programs. You would also find research institutions and universities doing wonderful research work in those fields. So just explore the databases at your service, and you are sure to find something or the other. Yes, I get a message saying audio and video are lagging. Don't bother about the video. It's just my face there, but you see all these important email IDs there in place. I'll keep on flipping through the slides so that you have other interesting information also coming up on your screens. PhD in computer science. Yes, absolutely. Computer science is indeed a subject field that gets its due credit in the German higher education system, also research system. So, of course, if you want to do a PhD, you're more than welcome. And at this point of time, I would also like to tell you that when it comes to PhD, the DAAD, the organization that I represent, uh, offers wonderful scholarships for doing complete PhDs in Germany, and you need to come up with a very good research proposal, and you need to approach a professor in Germany who's willing to be your guide for the duration of your PhD, and you apply for the PhD. It's a competitive selection, of course, like all good selections are. And then if you get the scholarship, then you can be in Germany for 3 years and complete your PhD. That is typically the duration in which one can get a PhD in Germany. Then we have a question. I have only one research project experience, and that too at the BSc level. I don't know what it is that you want to do, if you want to do a master's or a PhD. If it is PhD that you want to do, then a good idea would be to, then I assume you're doing your master's, and it would be a nice idea to put some research into your, some research element into your master's degree thesis and so on and so forth, so that it helps you with your PhD. Is it free education? Comes another question. Well, no education is free. Education involves infrastructure, education involves libraries, education involves research labs, education also involves teacher. And so there is nothing like free education. There are possibilities for that. You might want to join some industry house, and there would be possibilities for that. So it's entirely up to you what you make of opportunities. There are opportunities, there are takers. Just learn some German also, that comes in extremely handy. Computers, there are a number of questions in the field of computers, also at the master's level, also at the bachelor's level. Yes, there are plenty of programs available. I cannot name one or two individual universities because it would be incorrect for me to do that. I represent them all as DAAD, don't I? But then in this webinar series that you are participating in, you will have some German universities also talking uh, in detail about the kind of programs that they offer. Another question about scholarships for masters in chemistry. When we talk about DAD scholarships, yeah, I missed mentioning that DAD is the largest funding agency in the world, but we fund only research projects. We don't really have scholarships. The few that we have are largely in the field of public policy, good governance, subjects related to development such as energy management or so. Otherwise, all our scholarships are basically for PhD. And the lovely question, what kind of percentage is required at the bachelor's level? It really varies. It depends upon the university, but as I told you, most importantly, if you have a school leaving certificate, so if your 12th standard certificate is from any of the regional boards of India or CBSE or ICSE, you need to put in that mandatory 1 year into the bridging program and learn some German alongside it. If you want to know more about career opportunities and the programs and experience, the DAD page also has a section, DAD website has a section about young ambassadors. These are young students and professionals from India and the region who've been to Germany and either are doing their degrees or have completed their degrees. Connect with them and uh, they will be happy to help you with your questions. Am I Sanjeev? Am I audible? Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I have to select two best questions, and that's a very tough challenge because the questions were good. The interest was very clearly visible. but I give my first happy question would be, uh, well, one, someone is asking me, was asking about PhD in computer sciences. I need to locate the name of the person. PhD in computer sciences, I'm looking up, and I cannot. Well, Shakil Ahmad was the one who said he is looking at PhD in computer sciences. So that would be one of the two best questions. And the second best question would be the person who helped me or helped us all with the wonderful link to the DAAD scholarship menu. That was a man by the name Mohit.
Okay, thank you very much, Aditi. Hello.
Yeah, so I have given my two best questions and I'm now waiting for the colleagues at the EU.
Yeah, can you hear me, Aditi?
Yes, I can.
Thank you very much. So we have got the names and we will be contacting the two students whose name you have given. So congratulations to both of them. Thank you very much for the time. Apologies for the technology gap in between. But for students who have been attending, let me assure you, tomorrow we have got another colleague from DAD, Apur, who will be again presenting. So you will have another set of opportunity to listen to his presentation and ask questions. Okay, thanks, Aditi.
Right. Thank you very much, Sanjeev, and all the best to all of you who were in this webinar. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.